I didn't actually think about how I was going to start this. I want to make videos, but I have been really slacking on making those videos, mostly just due to kind of being unsure of what I want to do with them. The original concept of NoNotes, at least when I was making it, was, oh, I'm going to make these silly little videos where I play games and I talk while I'm playing the game, and then that will be the video. It'll be me rambling, almost like a stream at home, like a stream without being a stream. I did not like it. The main thing I noticed when I was making the NoNotes videos is that I could either focus on yapping or playing the game, not both. So either I had big sections of me not saying anything, or big sections of me yapping while sucking ass at whatever I was doing. And the other thing I realized is that I am a yapper. I am yapper supreme, and I ramble a lot. Way more than I had initially expected. And what it ended up turning into was me sitting there cutting out like 80% of what I was saying, but because this was supposed to be sort of a smooth experience, there would just be large sections of no talking because I was cutting out me repeating myself 4 or 5 times. I got the ADHD, and not just any ADHD, not the hyperfixate, not the hyperactive one. I have the one. I have inattentive ADHD, as you could probably tell. What that basically entails is that instead of your hyperactive ADHD, where you're bouncing from topic to topic to topic, you tend to kind of just drift and just lose yourself for a little bit and kind of forget what you were talking about in the first place. And that happens to me all the time. And what I was realizing when I was editing those videos is, wow, that's really annoying to listen to. And I'm sorry. I am sorry for anybody who knows me because I do it all the time. What I realized is that I didn't really like the way the NoNotes videos were turning out because a lot of the time it was just me rambling, losing the topic I was originally on, talking about something completely different, and then getting back onto the original topic, and then continuing where I left off until I inevitably got sidetracked again. After that, after I realized that that initial concept of doing the live commentary wasn't really working and I wasn't really happy with it, I was like, okay, I'll do post-commentary. And I did one post-commentary video that I had never uploaded, even though it was basically finished. And despite the fact that I've always wanted to make videos, and essentially like more well thought out, more sort of video essays, specifically on stuff like game design and all that kind of stuff, the issue that I have is that I really don't like the way that my scripts read. Because the thing about being a rambly, spontaneous person who has ADHD and can't hold a singular thought to save their life is that when I structure a really tight script, it doesn't feel like I'm myself. It's very bizarre. It does not feel like I am the one talking anymore, despite the fact that I'm not being upheld to write in any particular voice or style or anything. I'm writing the way I want to write, but when I'm speaking it out loud, it doesn't feel correct because it's structured and organized and there's thought put into it. I'm just a guy, all right? I'm just a fucking dude who didn't realize I had ADHD until last year. I'm used to just spouting off nonsense and not really paying attention to what I'm saying. So I'm at the point now where I realize that I've been wanting to make these videos really bad. I really do. I think about them all the time. I'm like, I want to make these videos. I want to make fun videos where I discuss my thoughts and feelings on various topics because they get stuck in my head and I enjoy talking about them and I enjoy hearing what other people say about them. But I have to figure out how to make those videos because clearly the traditional methods don't work great for me. I don't like having a strong script. In fact, the entire point of NoNotes was the title, NoNotes. There was no particular script involved. I also don't like when I'm left completely off the cuff while I'm trying to focus on something else. So, I made a third option. The thing that's exciting about using Resonite to make videos is that there is a level of tactility that I just didn't have before. If I want to talk about a video or a specific clip, I can just bring that in here and talk about it with it being right next to me. I could just bring it in here. I don't have to really think that hard about what I'm doing. You want to talk about this? You want to talk about this? Let's talk about this. And that's the reason why I'm excited about using Resonite, because that level of tactility feels so much better than just speaking at a monitor. I have a video idea in my head, and the idea of just looking at a monitor and talking over gameplay footage, I hate it. I hate it. I hate not having something to do while I'm talking. But the problem is that the entire reason why I did not like NoNotes in the first place was because I was getting distracted while I was working on it, while I was talking. But here, the distraction is the talking, so it's perfect. It makes perfect sense, and everything works out. Probably. We'll see. So, here I am, talking about nonsense, and most notably, the nonsense that's been going on in my life since the last video. Suffice to say, things have changed, and I'm going through kind of a weird transition point in my life, which has kind of led to a lot of half-baked projects, not quite finished things, me sort of figuring out what works for me and what doesn't work for me, and kind of a shift of priority of what I am and I'm not doing. So the number one thing about all this is that no particular project is being given more or less importance right now, because I'm just trying to figure out how to get things done in general. The thing about ADHD is this little concept called a hyperfixation. And a hyperfixation is when you are obsessed with a concept or an idea. For example, I made this entire place in 2.5 days. I mean, I took a rip of the level to start with, but all the lighting and all the editing and all this stuff, I basically had to fix up everything, combine everything, make new geometry like the roof and the scaffolding. I did all of that in 3 days. That is a hyperfixation, because that is my brain saying, ooh, there's a new thing. That's exciting. Let's just think about nothing else but that for the next 3 days. Hyperfixations are kind of difficult to deal with. The thing about hyperfixations, though, is that you feel fantastic when you're doing them. You feel great. You feel so motivated. So for the longest time, I thought that was what motivation felt like. And it was kind of a bombshell when I was talking to therapists and stuff, and they were like, no, that's not what motivation is. That's a hyperfixation. The problem being is that in my head, being motivated to work on something means that you cannot stop yourself from doing it. You can't stop yourself from doing it. You need to do it right now because it's the only thing you can think about. And that has completely warped my perspective of what want is. Because now when I think about, ooh, do I want to do something? I think about, can I imagine myself doing literally anything else right now? And if I can, then clearly I don't want to do it. So a lot of dealing with ADHD for me has specifically been trying to manage and redefine what want means. What does want actually mean? Well, it certainly doesn't mean what I thought it meant for the longest time. And that's led to me being in a weird position of having to sort of rewrite my brain and rewrite how I define when I want to work on stuff, what wanting to work on stuff actually feels like, and bringing myself to finish projects rather than getting them 50% done and then moving on to the next hyperfixation. Granted, I never said I was good at this, so that's what I'm doing now. I've had this idea in my head for the last, Jesus Christ, since my birthday. I've thought about, man, I really should make an update video to let people know that I'm still alive, all like 3 people who watch my video, and I just haven't brought myself to do it, because every single time I thought about doing it, I was like, yeah, I should do that, but do I really want to do it? Like, I mean, I could be playing like Team Fortress 2 instead. I want to do that, so why would I make a video? Clearly I don't want to do it, right? That has been such a prevalent problem in dealing with ADHD. It is maddening to deal with. It is insanely difficult to deal with. It is hard to describe because you become so dependent on those hyperfixations to feel like you can do stuff that you end up realizing that when you don't have a hyperfixation, it just feels like, well, what's the point? I clearly don't want to do it. It sucks. It's miserable. But I'm working on it. And clearly, based on tons of evidence out there, that I can work on it and I can get better about doing it. But it does require me to really redefine myself and what I want out of my life. Not what I want out of my life, but like what want actually means, what motivation actually is. Having to realize that even the people who love their job and love their craft and love what they do still have to push themselves to get things moving, which is a concept that's completely foreign to me. You know, real talk, a lot of the time dealing with this ADHD stuff, it can feel hopeless because you just only recognize the times that it's causing you problems, you only recognize when it's causing you grief, and it's hard to remember that you actually can get better at managing it, and people have gotten better at managing it before. For example, I've gotten a lot better about drawing. Not the best. I mean, if you follow me on Blue Sky, you'll recognize that, like, I didn't post any art for months and months. You know, I've sort of been able to change my mentality when it comes to drawing, as in, instead of focusing on what I can draw, I should focus on what I want to draw. And then I draw what I want to draw, and it makes me happier inside because I did the thing I want to do instead of being concerned about what I can do. And that's a whole can of worms that I would like to go into more detail later before I get too sidetracked. But the point being is that I changed my mentality on what I was doing. I changed the way I was thinking about something for the better. And it might sound depressing, but that might be the first time something like that has happened to me in years. It has not been super productive for me for a long time, and it has been hard to make these sort of large-scale mentality shifts. But the good news is that, hey, I did it. At least sort of. I sort of did it. I made an improvement, and that means that it's possible. And proving that it's possible is a big deal, because a lot of what I deal with in my life is this constant doubt that I'm just going to be stuck the way I am forever. Having proof that, hey, I did something and I changed my mentality for the better, and it actually stuck, which is the important part, because so often I change my mentality for the better and then I end up reverting back to the way I was. The fact that it actually stuck means, hey, I actually am making progress. And that's a big deal. That's a big fucking deal. The point I'm trying to get at here is that I'm going through a period of shifting my life around and having to build up new habits. At least I think that's what I was talking about. Redefining the want, the motivation, what it means, getting things done, working on stuff when you really don't feel like working on them, which has always been a hard one. And I think I'm making decent progress. Not great progress, but decent progress. I'm getting there. At least the ball is moving, when before it was stuck in the fucking earth like Excalibur. Wait, did Excalibur? That was a sword and stone, right? But it also came from the lake. Was it in the lake and then it got put in the stone? Whatever. Let's see. Is there anything else I want to talk about? I don't think so. So this is kind of an experiment. I don't know how well this is going to go. I'm hoping it goes well, because I do want to make videos, and I am at least glad that I recorded this. I didn't want to record this. I was about to actually go back to bed, but I was like, you know what? I've been thinking about recording this thing for God knows how long now. I should just go fucking do it. I should just go record that thing right now. So I did. And hopefully, if everything goes well, there'll be more things to look at. Soon, probably, maybe, I don't know. Not making any guarantees because I'm bad at keeping up with stuff. But I would like to make more videos, and I would like to get comfortable making videos so that they're not incredibly daunting. Because the thing I'm realizing is that the moment that something becomes less daunting to me, it's the moment that I start enjoying it. 3D modeling used to be incredibly daunting to me, but now I made this shirt, and yeah, it's not perfect. It's got issues, but I'm happy that I made it. And now when the idea of making another shirt it doesn't feel daunting or scary, and it's not completely unapproachable anymore, because now I know that I can do it. Basically, this video is to prove a point. Maybe? I don't know. I don't have a conclusion for this, honestly. I just wanted to make something, and I've been sitting on making this for a long time. So I hope that it was somewhat enjoyable, and hopefully I'll make more in the future. So, yeah, how about that? Is that a good end? That's a good end, right? That's an ending.